Hey, what's going on, everybody? Ryan Harper podcast, and I'm Ryan Harper. I need a better intro.
I already knew that.
You knew that?
I knew that.
That's awesome.
Because I knew that I wasn't Ryan Harper.
Well, of course.
I'm not lucky
and of
enough
course,
to be
even
Ryan
make
Harper.
the intro about yourself.
I don't know what you're
TJ
talking about.
Kosen is the guest today. He was
on, you
on.
guys?
He was actually the first guest, and I know it's only been 2 weeks, so it's not a big deal. But the thing about this is, I wanted to make it a, almost have like featured player type thing where.
Whoa. Oh,
That's you.
That's me listening to us.
That's you being making
that's
it about
sexy.
yourself.
That's
I was like,
good.
where does that noise coming from? So today, wanted to talk about masterminds, mentorship, the importance of, and then just go down that rabbit hole type of thing.
It's like an Alice in Wonderland kind of thing, rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Following the rabbit.
Yeah. Oh, but before I completely lose my train of thought, what I was saying is with this, I kind of want to have the featured player thing where
I really appreciate that.
you can have people come in frequently and have just touch base. And obviously it probably won't be as frequent as every 2 weeks,
Thank
but
God. I got stuff to do. I got a tea time this afternoon.
because it's all about golf.
Well, I got a frost delay until 10. So,
Is there really?
yeah, it's cold as
What's a frost delay? Oh, I can, never mind.
frost.
It's easy.
cold. Yeah. You don't want
I
to slip
thought,
on the
so
grass.
you can golf when it's like 300 degrees, but if it's like
Yeah.
30 degrees, it's too cold.
It freezes my back. It's not good for me. Stiffens up in the middle.
That's another thing I wanted to get into one of these days, but I don't know if I care enough.
Most people don't. So I guess we both have some experience with masterminds.
Yeah.
You have you've been in a couple, right?
Yes. I've been in one, but it wasn't necessarily real estate, and it was the reoccurring pay the $1,000 a month type thing. I know you're part of
We need to
Investor
start
Fuel.
one of those recurring things.
The subtle
I
plug.
just came with a great idea. Oh man, I just thought of that just now.
Look at you go. So as far as masterminds go, and Claire, thank you for watching, Claire. Love you.
Yeah, that's what I was responding to when I was listening to myself talk.
Is that what that was? Yeah. This is going to be the worst. We need to just trim out this entire. Hey, everybody, welcome to. So, as far as experience, as far as expectations, what do you want when you join a mastermind?
Oh, God, you know that's such a good question because I think a lot of people don't know what they want when they join it. Everyone says your network is your net worth and all that other crap, which is a cool catchphrase, I guess, in real estate. People like saying, but I don't think anyone really knows because then they're just hanging out with the same folks all the time.
Yeah.
So you're not really expanding anything. You're just having a social drinking club at that point. Versus actually expanding your network and expanding your net worth. I think that's a completely separate thing. And I think that's why you join something like a mastermind or like I know guru's a bad word. I don't really know why, but guru used to be a bad word in the real estate industry, at least in DFW. Not so much anymore.
I actually thought about renaming this podcast.
The Guru Podcast?
Yeah.
The Guru Show? I like that. But there's a place for that in the marketplace. There's a place for free education. There's a place for free content. And there's absolutely, I think, a place for paid knowledge. Mm-hmm. If I'm good at something, why do it for free? Or if someone else is good at something, why would I expect them to give away decent knowledge for free when they don't have to? Obviously, someone, you're generous. You like talking about yourself. You like saying, "Oh, look at how many deals I'm doing," or whatever. But actual like instruction on how to be successful, I think there's a lot of value to that.
Mm-hmm. So is it the network? Is that why you're joining the mastermind?
Probably. No. I'm taking notes because
you literally just wrote the word guru.
Okay, what I wrote was guru versus mastermind.
Got it.
Because there's a distinction, and I think I had a kind of false idea about this too. There's really a distinction between the two. A mastermind, you're joining a group of people that are in the business at different levels. Some of them higher than you probably, some of them lower than you. And you're learning as kind of a group experience. You're comparing notes. You're seeing what's working also in other markets too. That's a good point. Because if I'm hanging out with a bunch of DFW people and I got a niche that's working really, really well, I'm a nice guy, but I'm not going to go,
Right.
I'm not going to go mess that up.
Well, you bring up an interesting point, and that's the fact that even the term mastermind can connotate several things. Because when you hear the word mastermind, what do you immediately think of?
I think you think of something that's a recurring meeting with the same people in an industry that you're all interested in. So it's easy to apply this to real estate, obviously, because that's the business that most folks that I know happen to be in.
Mm-hmm.
But like your mastermind was tech and social media and all that stuff that you joined, right?
Right.
I'm in Investor Fuel, and it's kind of interesting. It's kind of ironic. Is that the right word? My wife hates it when I misuse that word because so many people use ironic for stuff that's not ironic at all.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's interesting that we're talking about that because Investor Fuel is going on right now in Nashville. So tag those guys, stick it in the Investor Fuel group. And I'm in San Diego, or I'm in Dallas. I'm in Dallas because yesterday was my daughter's first birthday, and I want to be in town for that. That's nice. Aww. Hold on, we'll get some pictures.
Hashtag country club toddler.
I guess that's the other thing I'm learning is I guess once you hit one, then you're no longer a baby, you're a toddler.
Right. Well,
here she is having a birthday cake. Huh? Which camera? Okay. Having her birthday cake. We went to Three Forks last night.
Yeah.
It was nice. She wanted to branch out, go somewhere different than Glen Eagles. So I took her somewhere a little downscale. We went to Three Forks.
Oh.
Tommy's
you
over
said
there
downscale?
Yeah, downscale from Glen. Yeah, I wanted to,
okay.
like slum it a little bit.
Well, going back to the masterminds though, so for you it's recurring, it's the same people, and I'm sure there's accountability there, and there's also the networking aspect of that group. But I think you could also throw in mastermind as being a one-off, and it might be just the wrong terminology about it, but because I know I've hosted masterminds before, but it was more of a networking, but it was more just a brain dump. And because there's a lack of better words to call it, just called it a mastermind. And some people were like, that's not a mastermind. It's like, well, I mean, a group of people coming together and sharing ideas. That's kind of the definition of mastermind, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And that's a good point. Maybe it's formal versus informal. Maybe it's structured versus not structured.
There you go.
It's not like there's a one definition that fits the thing.
Right.
It's not like, ooh, I bought tile, so therefore I have tile. It's no, I went to this, mastermind in some town in DFW, and we hung out and we talked real estate. I mean, that's technically a mastermind. The ones that you used to do with Propelio, I thought were really interesting. It's some of the best ways to meet people that are just in a casual environment because it was, semi-structured, but at the same time, you're meeting folks that are just there to hang out and have a couple beers.
What's funny about that is out of all the events we've done, or I've done, the thing that I got the most positive feedback were those small, intimate masterminds.
Yeah, no, they were a lot of
settings
fun.
Or whatever.
They were a lot of fun, and it's a way to. I think a mastermind, if you do it right, is really a way to weed out a lot of the fluff. So
Right.
Online, everyone's a badass. At least if you look at their Facebook profile, I think they are. Versus you're hanging out in a room and someone's bloviating about some bullshit. You say, well, how does that work? And you can see through it. So they're not as likely to do it, and they're more likely to have an honest dialogue about what's actually going on.
And Claire, she brings up a good point. She's like, she will never regret paying to be a part of her guru group. The network gave her an instant head start in real estate.
The network, that's one of those.
I think she was in the Big Dog.
Okay.
But what I like about that is what I love about Claire is she's not one to make excuses. Mm-hmm. It's like just do the work, go out there and grind. Interesting enough, Claire and I about a year ago, or I don't know how long ago it was, we went to a women's panel, like women in real estate panel, and I was like, hey Claire, come to this thing with me. So we go, and Claire's like 21, 22 at the time, and what that conversation came down to was the lack of opportunity because of the patriarchy. And most of them are realtors or brokers, whatever. And, what I love about the investment side of things is shut up with your excuses, just do the work. So she was actually infuriated. Like she was sitting there, 21, 22-year-old.
I know I like Claire.
Yeah, she was just like, why the F are we here? This is stupid. Mm-hmm. Like all these women are, whatever. But it was just
no offense to them but they're not. You know what? Claire and my wife will probably get together and share some notes on that because we talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Where you see people post on Facebook, oh, it's so tough, oh, the this, the that, the whatever your excuse is for your own personal inaction. And then
I love that. Personal inaction. I'm going to write that down.
That's a good note. No, that's genius stuff coming from me.
Yes.
Which, I mean, is fairly frequent, but that's actually above average. No, but anyway, lost my train of
Did
thought.
that joke not land?
I don't think so. I don't know. There's no audience, so it's hard to tell if it worked well or not. Hey, if you like that, send us some thumbs up there on the internet box. So that's better. That's better. Thank you. But it's true. In real estate investment, it's either you're doing it or you're not. And I think there's a lot. I don't see any disadvantage to being a girl in it. I don't see any disadvantage to being a guy in it. I don't see any disadvantage to being one ethnicity or gender or race, or those are all the same things, aren't they? I don't really see it, and neither does my wife. And we do obviously a lot of deals. She's never bumped into. Okay, yeah, obviously you bump into people not taking you seriously because of their preconceptions of who you are going in. I used to bump into that a lot more when I was younger. Now that I'm old, people just ignore me.
Well, I think being two white males, I think we are the authority to be able to talk about the subject.
Well, yeah,
about
I think
overcoming
so. I think
absurdity.
so. Well, okay, and that's why I married Sarah. So I get that perspective on things.
Yeah. Well, going back to the guru, it's even with that. Like my favorite, I think it's not just my favorite. Everybody's answer to any real estate question ever is it depends. Mm-hmm. So even with the guru thing,
that's Kelly saying she wants to come on the show later on.
Oh, nice.
I asked her, just a quick segue. I asked her if she wanted to have a little Pain and Gains recast, and she says love it. So we'll get her on.
Well, going back to the guru thing, even there it depends, because I think there's a difference between full guru, unethical guru, and educators, because you were talking about a mastermind setting where it's like the sharing of ideas. Well, a guru program, and currently the guru is the bad word, but you can have these guys. Well, like there's one coming this weekend, the Fipper Flopper, I cheated on my wife or guy that.
Oh, are you having him on?
No.
I was going to tell him I said hi. We used to get in fights on Twitter together.
The Talakawa guy?
Something like that.
Anyway, well, he's got an event coming to Dallas this weekend, and their previous thing got, it closed down because it got sued to high heaven. I mean, don't fact check me because I don't do research.
I don't think it got closed down, but yeah. Well, and there's always, look, anytime there's a Trump University or whatever it is, anytime there's something where you're paying for education and where the perception is that you're paying for results, then there's a lot of risk on the person putting it on to put out either a good product or else cover their tail.
Well, but what I was going to say though is something like that where it's like, hey, learn to do this for free, and then it's pay $1,000, pay $10,000, pay $50,000, and all it is just like keep giving me money and not really care about your future. Versus, hey, I'm coming in to do a one-off class. Like I do one-off classes all the time. Well, I host them. I don't teach them because I'm not really an authority on it. But to me, there's nothing wrong in selling education. There's nothing wrong in selling mentorship packages, as long as you're not being unethical. If you're coming from a place of ethicalness,
yeah, don't lie. Don't lie about what you're doing. Don't lie about the results of your students. Don't lie about your transactional volume. Whatever it is, and then. Aside from that, put out a product obviously that's functional, that works. Because if you're the educator, if your product works, if what you put out works. So there is a balancing act, obviously, I think, with that. Where if you're always selling the next step, then you need to make sure that the first step actually does work. And you maybe don't want to put it all out there, like on step one. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't have a mastermind yet.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So say hypothetically, you were going to create one.
Hypothetically, if I were to create one, I would do it ethically, morally, and I would try to set realistic expectations with folks. I think the unrealistic expectation with folks that, like we all know the big classes that people are talking about, are when you get a room full of, and there's probably a mathematical formula where they know how many people are going to convert, but you get a room of 500 people at a free event, and then you weed that down to charging $1,000 for 100 of them to come to your weekend intensive thing. And then out of that, you get 10, whatever it is, 10 people that pay the $10,000 thing for the other thing. And then out of those, maybe 3 of them are actually successful. All the while, you're saying, hey, you can get into real estate, no money down, no money out of your pocket, make your millions year one or whatever the hell. And here's how you max out your credit cards to pay me to teach you how to do that. I think that's where there's some disingenuousness in the process. Mm-hmm. I think if you say up front, like, hey, this shit's hard. Like some of us started out laying tile a decade ago. Probably not the best way to start out because you can pay someone to lay tile for you, or whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with tile layers. Some of them make a lot of money, but it's not the best way to start your real estate investing business is personally putting in your tile.
So in your mastermind,
hypothetical
mastermind,
yeah,
that we're going to map out right now.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Well, it'll say I got the Enterprise killing the Borg here, so it'll put something new on the page. I should put a Death Star on here.
Here we are talking about trying to do a mastermind, and if this is what people can expect, how are you going to get them to pay you money?
By being genuine.
And you genuinely don't care. You're like, I genuinely don't care about your success.
Pay me money, and I'll tell you why. No, that's
horrible.
That's one way to do it, I guess. I don't think that'll convert well. I think we'll have to have a large sample size to funnel that down.
I think anybody that ever hears this podcast will be like, no,
not that guy.
No. No, but so because I know with Investor Fuel,
Sure.
Mike's got two brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he currently does. He didn't used to, but now he does. And he's got I hesitate to say lower tier, but maybe intro to intermediate, and then he's got the more advanced guys. Right?
Yeah, I think so. And he's got a good group of people in both groups. He also, quick caveat on that, his advanced ones he limits to one group per market. So that's one way that, if you want to join that, you got to join a different market if there's someone already in your market. But the two-tier thing, I think it works well because you have, introduction stuff for people doing one volume versus people doing a different volume.
So if we're doing a mastermind, where's your tier? Is it somebody's already doing 1 to 3 deals a month, or already doing 1 to 10 deals a month, or over 10 deals a month, or there are no deals a month? Like where's the sweet spot for TJ?
I think I don't know if it's a mastermind.
Who can you help? Which person can you help?
Yeah, I think you help the most people by starting off with the people that are wanting to get into the business and then don't know where to start. So I don't think that's the mastermind program necessarily. I think it's more of the educational aspect of
it. Like a class here, a class there.
Yeah, I think so.
Watch a podcast, watch a webinar.
I think what you're doing is really helping, in this place, I think is really a great way to A, start, and B, just kind of keep constant recognition of what's going on and kind of get a feel for, look, there's a lot of different pieces of this business. There's marketing, there's purchasing, there's sales, there's renovations, there's wholesaling, whatever it is. And each one of those things can be a separate business. Yeah. And a lot of folks get into, I want to be a real estate investor. They don't know what that means. They want to cash the check. They want to maybe put in pretty tile. I want to cash the check. If I can cash a check without putting in pretty tile, that'd be cool.
You can cash a check while on the golf course. That's even better.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's not to, obviously I work very hard, but I think that's where people want to get to is they want to be able to cash the check and they want to be able to put in the tile without them putting in the tile and dropping it off.
Right.
And that's where people want to get to as a real estate investor, but they don't understand the steps that it takes to get there.
So, but here's the thing, though. So, say you're doing $1,000 a month mastermind.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea. Where'd you come up with that pricing plan?
Because everybody has. It's the one that everybody does. And it's
if something works, it works?
I guess. But somebody who's new to the business may not. Well, I guess you're saying that they would normally just go to a class. So, who would be like the $1,000 a month person?
I think. Talking about structuring the business itself, I think you take a bunch of classes where you do give good information, and maybe you do the classes for free. Maybe you do them for $100 to, pay for your pizza and beer or whatever your budget is. I don't see a problem with either one of those. And then from there, the people that are really serious that see a value in what you're offering as an educator or a guru or whatever you want to call it, then they take the piece of value. The value is, here's how you build your business. Here's how we work together and build our business together, or whatever it is. Then they pay the $1,000 a month. So I think that's the people that are serious. I guess what we're coming up to is the people that are serious, I think, join something like this.
Right.
I think I would have benefited probably forever ago, 2007, by joining something like this. Whatever, the hypothetical this. But by joining something that, here's a structure of how you build your business.
So you've already said before how, like when it comes to your knowledge, like you're kind of close to the vest on your stuff, but if it's somebody else's market, you have no problem doing that. So what if you have people that are in the DFW market? Are you going to be completely open with the people in your group, or are you going to still go, no, this is mine?
Well, then you get into...
Or have you even thought about that yet?
Then you get into what product are you actually offering. So there's competition on a marketing standpoint. So, okay, what's my list that I'm mailing to or calling to or whatever it is? Or what's my marketing strategy and how have I optimized and fine-tuned that through tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars? That's a little proprietary. Versus saying, okay, well, here's how we approach marketing, I think is not as proprietary. So that's in a market-specific environment like DFW.
So it's basically like, hey, this is how I identify, this is how you fish, this is the bait you use to fish, and these are the type of places I go target to fish, versus, hey, that spot over there at 39 by 42, you're not going to do that.
No, of course not. Why would you?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I don't know anyone that's really successful that says, here's everything I'm doing from, A to Z right now in this market, in this spot, to, go mess that up for them. That seems short-sighted if you're in the business.
Well, I know one of the biggest irks of a former, it wasn't a business partner, but a former guy I used to work for, potentially going to be working with soon here, is his former business partner basically went on a rampage and taught everybody the business in DFW with really no back end other than notoriety and ego. And what happened...
If you want to call it out.
What's that?
I said, well, if you want to call it out. Damn, dude.
Did I?
Yeah, I don't know. Let the audience figure it out.
Well, they don't know who I'm talking about.
No, neither do I. But I'm just saying.
Anyways, what was I saying? No, but then there was a lot of competition. Like he created his own competition.
Yeah, well, I guess. I don't think anyone person is going to create competition in an industry, even in a submarket like DFW. Yeah. What they're going to do is they're going to create competition for what they're doing in that submarket.
Well, I think then the other complaint is they showed him where the watering hole was.
Well,
where the specific, hey, this is where you get the fish in a specific city.
That's the great thing about something the size of real estate, though. Yeah. Is there's different watering holes. My watering hole is different than whoever you're talking about's watering hole, because I guarantee I hadn't bumped into him on an acquisitions appointment using my primary marketing.
And that's one thing we were talking about, I think, with Kristen the other day, about how the amount of investors that are actually in the business is supposedly 2 million people across the country.
Oh, I was going to say, what, in DFW?
Yes.
Hey, look, in DFW, you got one or two kinds of
folks. If you own a car, lease a car, drive a car.
Exactly.
You're a real estate investor.
In DFW, you got people that are either want to be in real estate or are in real estate. And what is Corey Thompson's saying that's a little Corey Thompson-esque? You can't get into a Starbucks and let one go without carpet bombing a mediocre realtor.
I've never heard that.
He only said it on your all's thing.
I don't pay attention to that either. I'm like you. I don't even pay attention to the things I say.
Those are the only things that I do pay attention to, are the things that you say. I mean, I say.
Exactly.
Right. That's important stuff. Y'all are taking notes, right?
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
So we're talking about gurus and masterminds.
Right. So, and we were talking about what if in your mastermind, what you would offer. You say you're going to offer how to market?
Yeah, I think, look, all the rest of the stuff doesn't matter. How to put in tile right doesn't matter. You can learn that by watching a YouTube video if you want to be a tile putter-inner. Same thing with roofing, same thing with painting. It's fun. You can make a lot of money being just one of those specialty trades. Almost easier than being in real estate, by the way. Having a quick segue, actually, that's really interesting. If you want to do a binary product like just roofing, now there's more roofers per capita in DFW than anywhere else in the country, statistically speaking, because of a couple of reasons. One, barriers to entry are fairly low. You don't need an actual license for doing it, which is a little crazy, but it is what it is. Two, because you get so damn many hailstorms out here that they need new roofs. And you're screwing up a bunch of shingles, you need new roofs. That's 1 and 2. 3 is it's actually a fairly high margin business if you do it right. Mm-hmm. So you can make some good money doing it. So back to the main point is, with a binary product like roofing, like painting, like plumbing. Plumbing's not quite as binary, but it's either done or it's not done. It's either on or it's not on. It's a lot easier to systematize and processify the actual process of doing it versus something like real estate, where you do systematize the process, but you systematize the acquisition process as much as you can, and then you figure out what you're going to do with the actual product once you got it. So a shingle roof is for all practical purposes, more or less a shingle roof. A flip in Arlington that's a cosmetic 3-2, paint, carpet, that's it, is different than a flip in a Farmer's Branch where you got 7 inches of foundation. This is a great example because we have one in Arlington right now. We have one in Farmer's Branch right now. Farmer's Branch house has 7 inches of foundation movement, which we then lift back up again 7 inches, and that comes with a lot of other problems. So in Arlington, it's pretty easy. If you can get those like once a day, you're going to be rich as hell. Whereas Farmer's Branch, you lift something up 7 inches, you're going to mess up plumbing. You're going to mess up potentially electrical. You're going to have your roof line, talking about roofing. It sits all flat when it's down here on the whatever, but you move that 7 inches on this side of the house and not 7 inches on this side of the house, the roof line then looks like this. So if you don't know what you're going to get into by doing that, you bump into a lot more pitfalls. Versus, again, a binary product where it's a repeatable product, so the process is more scalable, more easier. I think is really something that maybe some real estate people, if they actually want to make money versus do the sexy paint and carpet, think they're going to get rich by doing houses thing, something maybe to consider.
So it sounds like because you have all that construction rehab knowledge that for your mentorship program, your mastermind program, it's going to be more geared towards somebody who's wanting to flip versus, hey, I'm going to be a wholesaler. Because I don't know, like in the wholesaler world, yeah, there's some that are in the mastermind programs, but most of them are full-time wholesalers because maybe they haven't scaled to the position where they are flipping or they do have a portfolio.
Yeah, nothing wrong with either one. We don't wholesale a lot because we don't have to. And because we've kind of intentionally kept it small-ish just because we like it to be manageable. Like once you're making a certain amount of money, it becomes kind of nice to not worry about the headaches of doing stuff all the heck over the place. Now that's fixing to change, and that's changing slowly, but I think I'm resisting it the entire way.
What's that? Scaling?
Yeah, scaling and doing more versus a transactional wholesale type business. I don't know. I know a lot of folks that do a lot of wholesaling in multiple markets that do pretty well, that join like an investor fuel mastermind or something like that. So I think there's a place for both of them.
Well, yeah, but like the onesie twosies, like 1 to 3 a month.
Yeah.
Even though it's well in your budget, because if you're doing 1 to 3 and you're making 5 to 8 per,
yeah,
so that's at 15 to 24,000.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Obviously you take your marketing out of that, but
about 25% for marketing is a good 25 to 35%, depending on how effective you are, is pretty universal, I think, for marketing. I think there's a lot of low-hanging fruit trying to sell programs to wannabe wholesalers. Mm-hmm. First rule of sales is don't sell stuff to broke people necessarily. So I think there's a lot of movement in that industry about I'll go make your millions being a wholesaler without a lot of, and some of the big folks that do a lot of it, a lot of the education, they're good people. They do a lot of transactions, but I think maybe they're not as upfront about it's a lot of damn work.
Right.
Versus you get into something like a flip, it's pretty easy to say, it's a lot of work because you're doing all this different stuff. Those two examples, the Arlington house versus the Farmer's Branch house, there's a lot of work with both of them. But there's a lot more knowledge base that you have to have in understanding what that work is before you even get into it so you don't screw yourself. Now, if you're wholesaling, let's be honest, all you care about is moving the contract to the next guy that's going to pay you more money than you got it for. And yeah, you don't want to sell a bad product, but if you're wholesaling any volume, you don't know anything about your damn product. All you know is someone's willing to give me X for it, so I got to get it for X minus 5K, 10K, whatever, and move it.
So ideally for you, do you see yours being more of a local thing or a national thing or both?
I think there's, hypothetically, I think both. I think there's a lot of value to here's the business, and the business isn't just wholesaling. I think wholesaling is something you need to understand to get into real estate. Even if you're just buying from wholesalers, you need to understand the process about how a double close goes, about how an assignment goes, so you don't see a HUD with a 10K assignment fee and say, well, what the hell is this? So I think that's important. I think Mike Hambright does this too, or at least I know he has. Is I think a good kind of foot in for a mastermind or even a guru education program is the ability to leverage in other markets where maybe, look, you need time, money, or deals. Maybe we come in with money but not a lot of time and teach someone else how to get deals, and they don't need to worry about the money aspect of it. Maybe that's one way that it works well, and a lot of folks do it like that. You pick on some of the TV masterminds. I've known people that have gone through the Than Merrill whatever it's called program. We actually worked on a couple of his houses out in San Diego back when we were doing construction way back in the day. And yeah, you're going to have a bunch of people that didn't follow through, but you're going to have a lot of folks that did follow through and are killing it. And it really gives you a step up quicker.
And that's one thing I've noticed about pretty much every program out there, even the scary guru programs. The people that are going to take the action they're going to succeed no matter what. And it depends on how many nuggets they were able to pull out. Mm-hmm. So for me, like programs like that or the Rich Dad program, I've never been to any of those programs. So I'm only going off of other people's experience and other people's hearsay. But a lot of those seem like it's that what I was talking about before, where you pay $1,000, pay $10,000, pay $50,000, and then you're still just paying. But at the end of the day, YouTube University, all this knowledge is already out there. So it seems like you're more paying for accountability and paying for.
I was just going to say that exact statement. I think you're paying for accountability, and I think you're paying for the network. Look, the people that are killing it, that's all because they're awesome. The people that aren't killing it, it's all because, man, I got screwed and I overpaid for this and this guy took advantage of me and all this other stuff. It doesn't matter that the person that's killing it also went through this. Oh, yeah, no, I got started in that program, but I'm killing it. I mean, see how that works? Mm-hmm. So versus, oh, man, that guy's such a scammy whatever. I'd spend all my money on him and I'm down to my last dollar and I had to scrape myself back up on my own. Like, maybe you just didn't listen to what they were offering.
Having those expectations.
Yeah, or maybe you had unrealistic expectations.
Well, because Jeff here locally for a full year, going to the small masterminds we did, that I used to do, watching the content, absorbing the content, and even he would tell you that he suffered massively from analysis paralysis. He does still do that in a way.
He does deals. His marketing cost is awesome.
Right. Now
I said 25 to 35% marketing cost.
I think his is like free.
That's if you're just throwing money at it like I do.
Right.
If you want to do it for free, 100%, you can do it for free.
Yeah. So I think he's done.
But that takes a lot of time.
Right. Like, because I know he's doing a lot of JVs with Jason Riney right now. Mm-hmm. And I think they've done 7 or 8 deals with them together.
Yeah.
Which, to go from a full year of nothing to go to, hey, we're doing, and I don't know the time frame on that, but it ultimately doesn't matter. To do 7 deals, 8 deals, you're already over that hump of this is a shiny new object, and I kind of don't want to do it anymore. Because, a lot of people get in, like they do a deal, they do 2 deals, they do 3 deals, like, I don't like this. I'd rather, I'd just do something else because this is not the life for me. But I think 7 or 8, you're in it.
It becomes a business. It becomes a business. There's a onesie, twos. Look, everyone that sees the Chip and Joanna Gaines show wants to be a flipper. They see my wife and I walk onto a construction site and think, oh, isn't that cute? You guys, whatever. Like, I mean, yeah, but there's not that much drama to it. So that's the sexy part. That's let's go to the granite yard and pick out granite. In reality, I haven't been to a granite yard in a year. I call my granite guy and say, hey, put in that stuff that we just put in the last 10 flips.
Because you brought that up, I do want to pivot to that for a little bit. What I love about HGTV is the fact that, or those type of shows, the worst thing that can ever happen is a pipe bursting. Like literally those shows. It's like, right. Oh my God, there's a pipe burst. Oh my God, one of the walls is not structural. It's like they've never found bodies in the backyard. They never found bodies in the walls. The copper's never been stripped out.
They probably have, but maybe they don't put that part on the TV
right,
show.
But
they do idealize the product and the process a little bit.
But that's my point, is like on TV, if all you know about real estate investing is what HGTV tells you, mm-hmm. the worst thing that can happen is the pipe burst because of a freeze.
It's really right. And it's really, I mean, don't get me wrong. We do such a volume that I do think it's a little bit processified. But looking back, if I was to start all over again from zero, it is exciting. It is fun. You get to go pick out products that work. Now, the way we do that now is we kind of put in about the same stuff. But you go to the tile store and you see thousands of options, literally, and millions of combinations if you mix stuff up or whatever it is. So let's pick something that works and let's make it work. That's exciting. So there's a lot of, not to disparage the new person getting into it, because you're in a business, like you said, you're in any business long enough, it's going to get a little monotonous because it is a business. But it's fun. It's still fun for us to go in there and make a house, walk in and go, wow, that's really cool. We just staged a house in McKinney. We bought it, I don't know, a couple months ago or something like that. Great example. So we do our own staging because we're cheap and that stuff's expensive. There's another binary product deal. Start a staging company. Make a lot of money. Work your ass off. But you think roofers don't work their butt off putting on roofs? Anyway, but again, high margin. So we dropped off staging stuff. I don't know, the last house that we staged. And we took it out of one house, moved it up to this house, in the middle of construction on this house, or actually the beginning of construction because we'd sold the last house. Like at the beginning of construction on this house. We're like, we don't want to move it back to storage. It's more trips. Screw it. Just put it in the garage up there. So one of my guys, we come up and said, hey, got a Saturday, come on up, help us throw the stuff around and stage this house. So he goes up there with us and he walks in and it's, last time we saw this house was when we dropped the stuff off. It was demo day, demo week, whatever. And that's another thing. Demo day is never a day. It's a freaking week. Anyway, sometimes it's a week and a half.
You don't want to get a hat, get a cute hat and do a cute Instagram post. Demo day.
No, I need to get a cute hat. That's why I'm wearing what I'm wearing.
Epstein. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Epstein lives or?
No, he didn't kill him. I'm just saying.
Epstein didn't kill himself. He's not dead.
Well, that's your perspective. Yeah, that's your philosophy. That's your
The aliens got him.
I think that might be what happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this dude, this guy that works for me, walks in after 4 weeks, 6 weeks of rehab, and he's like, "Holy shit, is this the same house?"
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I think so. I mean, the stuff's still in the garage, so it better be the same house unless we're in the wrong spot. So that really doesn't get old, even if you're doing something that looks similar. You walk in, and for me, it's always, I guess I like getting started on stuff, and by the time we're finally finished with it, it's like, I'm tired of seeing this house.
I think, one interesting thing there that my mind jumped to, like, because we were talking about the masterminds and the accountability of just paying somebody to have accountability there. That may not make sense, but in a lot of ways, when you're flipping, and say you're new to flipping, and I know some flippers that still do this, even though they shouldn't, but access to capital is not a thing for them. So whatever, you shouldn't have an emotional component to that house. Like you do things because it makes financial sense, not because it would look cooler or be cooler or, oh, I really like this style. It's like your perspective should have no bearing on it whatsoever. It's you remove the wall.
Let me put a caveat there. Your perspective should have no bearing on it if you got shitty taste. If you have good taste, then your perspective is important. I got great taste. My perspective is pretty important.
The point I'm making is you remove a wall because the style says you're going to get better return on your money. You don't remove the wall because, the way the lighting hits this was just better. That may very well be, but if it doesn't, if removing the wall cost $1 billion and you're not getting $1,000,000,001 return, there's no sense in doing that. That's the point I'm making.
I like gold-plated toilet seats. I want to make toilet seats great again. So I'm going to put those in every single house because they look so cool and they make it sell. Now,
if it makes it sell,
gold-plated toilet seat costs $50,000. I have no idea what they cost. To be honest with you, and I think that's kind of tacky.
Right.
But that's the example. Yeah, I might like pink walls. My daughter might like pink walls. I don't know. She doesn't really have opinions about that yet. So I might want pink walls all over my entire house at home, and that's perfectly fine for my aesthetic. Oh, well, thank you. Anyway, I might like clay saltile tile. I hate that stuff because it's a pain in the ass to take out. And I might have that all over my house at my home, and that's perfectly fine. Or it might work for a certain, actually that's a good example. It might even work for a certain design type on a house.
Right.
But if that's your style and that's what you think looks really, really good, and you're the only one that does, you're not wrong for you, but you're wrong when you're trying to sell your house to someone else.
The point I was trying to get to was the fact that if you are used to spending if you're always going over a budget, $5 or $10,000,
shit, that's easy.
$20,000, but I'm talking about on stupid stuff like, because I want to take that
toilet seat,
gold-plated toilet seats, or take it out of the wall. Just having that accountability of somebody walking in and saying, "Dude, don't do that.
You don't need to do that.
You don't need to do that.
You don't need to do that."
Because I think a lot of times you just need a peer or mentor to give you the authority to not do what you think you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, we need all new light fixtures. Those 3 are okay.
Just Lysol and clean it.
Yeah. Or, and this is never. It's never like a. There's never. It's not like roofing where again it's a binary thing. There's never an exact cause and effect where you can say exactly, this causes this to sell for more, or this makes this house move faster, or whatever it is. With the exception of Nest thermostats, by the way. Here's my bro tip for the day, is you put that stuff in every house from $150K up to a freaking $1 million, and every single buyer likes those things. So with that one exception, spend your $160 plus, whatever it is to install, and put a damn Nest thermostat in your house. But with the exception of that, maybe you don't move that wall.
But why?
Why? Because it's cool, and everyone knows it's cool. It's like one binary cool thing that everyone knows is cool. It's weird.
Okay.
But with the exception of that, there's not really an answer. So we like to fix houses so that we think that we put in the minimum amount of work to maximize what we're going to make on them. But usually that means we do a really nice job on the house. Sometimes it means, like if you all seen the hoarder video of that house, sometimes it means we literally just take out the trash. Sometimes it means we literally pressure wash the inside of a house and stick it on the market as is. Sometimes it means, I know one of the guys you used to work for, he does a lot of wholesales, where it means you make it minimum FHA qualifying, which means you put in new carpet and you fix the drywall holes and you paint it, but you don't do the granite and the tile because that sells for enough to make the money. And even in the marketplace, there's a good market for that too, for entry-level houses. We have a house in Haltom City right now where we didn't do much to it, and we're putting it on the market, and it's the cheapest thing in the zip code, and someone's getting a decent house for a very, very reasonable price with already built-in equity. So renovating to fit the neighborhood, to fit the aesthetic that works, and then renovating to fit the price point that you want to try to hit is not an exact science, but it's definitely something that is really critical to making it work. And like you said, if you can save 10 grand on renovation costs, if you can sell something for 10 grand more because you did know oh my gosh, we do have to take out that wall in this neighborhood. If you sell something, and this is a mistake that we make once in a while, if you sell something a month faster because you staged it versus, oh, screw it, I didn't want to spend the money, I felt like playing golf that Saturday instead of going up and staging that house, then that's worth a mastermind program at $1,000 a month every single year. And then you're going to make friends, and then you're going to learn other tricks too.
Well, I was on the phone with Quentin Flores the other day, and we were talking about his event coming up. And one of the things that came up was like, dude, you've already saved me $70,000 because of my experiences, my knowledge on the event space.
He's not going to write you a check for 70 grand.
Not at all. But my point, what I'm getting there is the fact that if you can have people in your circle, in your network, that can advise you to make the right decisions, you can either save money or you can spend money. Mm-hmm. And like with that, the whole reason I'm pulling it up is like, here's a piece of knowledge he wasn't aware of, and he could have spent 70 grand on in fees in a hotel. Mm-hmm. And then, but going back to the flipping side of things is, I think going back to the romanticized version of flipping or real estate in general, you get this idea of, oh, I need to do this sexy Chip and Joanna Gaines reveal on every house. And it's like, well, wait a minute, going back to the hotel situation.
We need to do an open house in every house. My wife doesn't do many open houses, and she sells, again, a lot of damn houses.
Well,
so yeah, there's a perception of what you need to do. I think that's what you're getting onto. There's a perception of what you need to do versus there's a reality of what it takes to get the job done.
I think ultimately for me, it's if I buy the house here, mm-hmm. and I'm trying to make money here or whatever that is, I'm trying to make $20,000, $30,000 on this house. Mm-hmm. And as I'm doing the flip, as I'm doing the demo, as I'm doing whatever process it is, at a certain point, $1 in doesn't equal $1 out. Yeah. And then you're either you're going to start losing money or you're just wasting time. So in the case of a hotel situation, it's like, well, I could finish this rehab, but I'm not going to make any more money. So mm-hmm. why not just sell it right now? And then I just saved the time to save the headache.
Are you in the business to make money, or are you in the business to make pretty houses? We're in the business of making money, but we do it generally by making pretty houses. And there absolutely is a law of diminishing returns when you get into this business where, man, I should put a 3,000 square foot deck on the back of this 200K house.
Why?
That's cool. If I was living there, that'd be awesome.
Right.
But it's not going. You're not going to recoup the cost. I don't even know what a 3,000 square foot deck costs. a lot.
But that's overall, that's the point, is you need somebody to be like, look, you don't have to do that.
Right.
And I think especially with the newer situations, you're new to this business, you're doing what YouTube, you're doing what Google, you're doing what books tell you to do, you're doing what your own life experience. So you look at the neighbor's house, the neighbor house has a pool. Oh, well, I got to build a pool. Maybe.
That's an extreme example, but
I'm just saying, but maybe not.
No,
because
it's 100% true.
If I can sell the house for if the ARV's here and I can sell it there, and then, but if I'm putting a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 pool or whatever the cost is, do I get $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 more? And even then, if it's only $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 more,
if you're at break even,
there's no point in doing it.
Right.
But
list the house for $30,000 less.
If I
sell it to someone else.
But if I'm putting 20 in and all of a sudden I'm getting 50 back, that's a different scenario entirely.
Yeah, and I think in real estate, look, there's always a cap with what the max you can get out of a house. There's only so much that a house is worth in a market, and the way you figure that out is by putting it on that market.
Right.
But the way you maximize that is by what you put into it. So in one area, we have a great example right now where we're looking at a house. It's got a newer-ish roof, but it's got some staining on it, and it's cheap 3-tab shingles. And we thought, we want to list it. We want to list it about here because that's pretty competitive, and it's got a little bit of room. But then we drive past it, and man, that roof looks kind of crappy. The rest of the house just looks amazing. So I do the math. The roof is going to cost us like $3,500, not that much, because I get really good prices because we do a lot of them. But I think we can probably list the house for $3,500 to maybe $5,000 more by putting on this roof. That seems like probably a pretty good idea. So there's stuff that increases the purchase price or the sales price, I guess, a little bit. There's stuff that increases the sales price a lot a bit, and there's stuff that increases the turnover ratio on how quick your property moves. And that third one is the one that you don't see when you're writing checks to your contractor. You don't see it when you're walking through this house that's the same color as the last house that you did. But that's the one that actually kind of separates you from knowing what you're doing versus knowing what you're not doing, is knowing how to price it right and knowing how to move it when you're done.
And another thing that is you bring up, because you're talking about the velocity of sale, but say that thing that you're about to do has a timeline increase of 3 to 5 weeks.
Right. Oh yeah.
If the thing you're about to do only adds 3 to 5 grand, but it adds 3 to 5 weeks,
your 3,000 square foot deck, your pool, your whatever it is,
or whatever it is, what's your holding cost? But then also, what does it increase your volume? Because if your days on market after doing that, it's only 1 day. But if your days on market without doing that is like 6 months, well, that makes sense. Yeah. So I think the overall point of this conversation is you have to look at it very holistically, and if you could have an experienced person on your team to like look over your shoulder and be like, yeah, I would do it this way. That's the way to go.
No, I think that's what we're coming back to. Like, we're talking mechanics of rehabs and mechanics of put a roof on or don't put a roof on, or become a roofer instead of a real estate investor, whatever it is.
Right.
Bottom line is, when you're working with someone experienced that knows what they're doing, would you rather reinvent the wheel without even knowing what the wheel is supposed to look like in the first place, versus jumping on someone else's wagon that's already rolling with wheels that work perfectly fine? And in exchange for that, you're giving up a percentage. You're probably giving up a good size percentage, but are you giving up a percentage of something that works, that they're bringing to the table because they're bringing the knowledge of here's what works. So you're giving up the shortcut of getting that knowledge versus you're getting 100% of what you don't even know if it does or doesn't work because it's 100% yours because you built that or whatever.
So talking to Ron Carlson the other day, one thing and I've never really thought about it, because he does so much volume, he knows 1 in 20 houses are going to be a dud. Do you have a ratio in your head where you're like, okay, I know 1 in 10, 1 in 20, or you just like, nope, every single house is a home run or I don't do it?
It's probably about the same number. We haven't lost money for a minute, but we've broken even on 1 or 2 that we thought would be more home runs than they were. So we don't do
those hurt.
Which
when you think you're going to make like $100,000 and then all of a sudden
you're sitting there for 6 months, you're working your ass off, you're making this house beautiful.
Exactly.
And then 6 months later, it's like, oh my God, I'm still here. And then you put it on the market and I'm like, oh my God, I made $2,500 versus the wholesale versus the, oh shit, we got 10K over ask. You don't really dwell on that. It's like, that's cool. Yeah, it's a nice house, whatever.
I think that's the biggest lesson to be learned in real estate.
Realistic expectations.
Not only that, but it's the whole don't count your chickens till they hatch type of thing. Because there was a realtor that we used to work with, Jason and I, years ago, where literally if once the house was shown and there was like a verbal, yeah, we want it.
Oh, it's sold. We're good. Like
she was already on their way to Choctaw to spend that money. You know, before the money even got anyway.
That's a salesman mentality versus a business owner mentality.
Yeah.
Salesman mentality, my income fluctuates by huge margins in a month. One month we might not even make any money because we got 5 deals that are fixing to sell the next month. It doesn't affect our lifestyle whatsoever.
Yeah, that's always funny conversations with you because they're like, I'm like, how much you make this money? Like $70K. And the next month, how much you make? I'm poor. Nothing.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I made
nothing.
I got to sell the truck. That's actually why I sold the truck. Yeah.
Didn't you just give it back?
Yeah, right. According to you.
Yeah, I gave it back. So here's something that people may not know. The way you landed your wife was you broke your back, and that's why she felt sorry for you.
Yeah. Now her dropping me had nothing to do with any of that. What's up, babe? I love you.
So earlier we were
hold on, and then her defense is, well, if I wasn't so damn fat, she wouldn't. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Well, you do have chubby cheeks.
That's my nickname for my daughter. That's 100% true. That's one of them. She has a lot of nicknames.
That's shaming.
Body shaming.
That's body shaming.
She's one.
You're body shaming a toddler.
Yeah.
You need to get more woke.
Call her chubby cheeks.
That's
cute.
Earlier we were talking about the newness factor. Or getting over it. A lot of people get burnt out in this business. Is one of the reasons you're wanting to do a mastermind, the newness factor of something new, something different, or is it purely money, or is there altruism there, or is it a mixture of all three?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of all three, really. And again, this is all a little hypothetical, and it might not even happen in the next year. But I think there's always a little monotonousness in the business you're in. There's always a little, the seaweed is always greener in someone else's pond. There's always a little bit of I'm tired of what this is. Let's do something else.
Right.
So there's always a little bit of that. But I do think a big piece of it is, there's a lot to offer with joining something that's working, that's genuine, that's authentic. There's a lot of folks, and I'm not going to call it anymore. There's a lot of folks that do a lot of volume but don't make a lot of money because they don't buy right, or because they're sitting on some stuff that they're actually not moving and they're not telling anyone that they're sitting on. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of value to authenticity. I think there's a lot of value to really just all the stuff that we've been talking about, like the process. And literally in this business, you can change your life inside of 6 months. You can change your life like bigly, from being unemployed, from being self-employed, from being, at your job that, maybe you don't like. So that's really an opportunity that's why people get into real estate, is to change their lives. It's not to work harder. It's not to hustle 25/8. It's not to never skip legs day, or whatever the catchphrase is that I like to say when we're online to get noticed. But it's really to provide a lifestyle for yourself. And if you're not there to provide a lifestyle, then what are you there for? If you're not there to provide a lifestyle or a legacy or an opportunity for yourself or your family, for, whatever it is, then really what are you doing? You're there to stroke your ego because you get likes online? Yeah, it's all about the view count, not about the bank account. But in real life, it's all about the bank account. And being able to share that with other folks and being able to change lives on a different level, I think would be a lot of fun. Because, yeah, we put out a nice product, we sell a nice house. Let's be honest, if we didn't sell the house, someone else probably would have bought it, and they probably would have renovated it, and they probably would have sold it too. You're not changing the world by fixing houses. You're changing your life. You never change it. You're not changing the world anyhow. But you affect a lot more people if you can leverage your knowledge to a broader base than your transactional business. Wow, that was brilliant. Write that down.
Yeah.
What did I say?
I don't know.
Tommy's bedroom.
All I know for the last 8 minutes, I was just looking at your eyes. Oh. Where'd you get that?
He just did it himself. That was
the internet.
So Tommy is back there. You just high-fiving or what?
Yes.
Thumbs up and.
He's dressed more formally than I am.
Still not wearing socks.
He's got athletic socks.
He's got the no-show.
Yeah, my wife makes fun of me for that. She's like, "You can't wear those socks with those pants." But
why not? I call them bro socks.
Yeah,
I wear the same socks with and that's not important.
I get sexy ankles.
We're not doing a lifestyle blog on fashion here.
Yeah,
we're doing a real estate.
I think
we're doing a real estate discussion.
View count is at -7.
I stopped watching me.
It's okay. As far as just to me, what I have an idea of what I would want in a mastermind to be. Like, what is your ultimate vision for, like, if we're building one, what do you want it to be?
Yeah. So since we're building one together.
Correct.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's really
That's a
not
great idea.
hypothetical. It's we're in the process of we're
Thinking
mapping
about
that out.
Yeah. No, we're arm wrestling over costs.
Well, no, we've established it. Maybe you had a couple too many drinks. I have it. You took a picture of it.
I didn't even. I wasn't even drinking that night.
I don't.
It's Lent, dude. It's Lent. I'm not drinking during Lent.
I don't think I've ever been in a situation with you past 5 o'clock where a drink wasn't part of the equation.
That's because in order for me to hang out with you past 5 o'clock, I need to have a certain amount of alcohol blood level content.
Oh, I set that one up, didn't I? Anyway,
it's not me. It's you.
back to the question at hand. What is your vision of a mastermind?
Sure. I think there's it's a funnel. Everything in marketing is a funnel, and it's a marketing thing. So there's education and there's potential program for really teaching people the nuts and bolts, the basics of how to not get screwed in this business. The people that do one house, when we were doing construction, we did probably 50, 60 houses a year for folks that were new flippers. I don't know many of them that are still in the business doing flips because they started off wrong. They already bought wrong, and now they're going to hire us as a contractor to come in and fix their house. So the education is, yeah, it's out there, but there's always room for one more, and yeah, it is about money, but there's also there's not a lot of concise education about here's the process that you follow to get a good result, and you're always watching a balancing act because you don't want to promise results because you can't promise results, but you can say, hey, if you put this in, if you put this effort in, the likelihood of success is relatively high, and the likelihood of failure, which is even more important, is relatively low. The likelihood of overpaying on a house because you have to do a deal. I know a lot of folks, I got $500,000 in the bank account. I have to do a deal. I have to do something with this money. I'm losing money by not making money. Okay, the only thing more fun than losing money by not making money is losing money by losing money. It's not fun actually at all. I've done that. Like one of my favorite like throwaway things is I'd rather play golf for an entire year and pay country club dues than lose $100,000 again in a year and make no money the same year. That's people don't really think about that, but the downside management and the risk management are huge, and people don't talk about that because it's not sexy.
Well, and that's what you learn in economics. It's the negative impact. You're more negatively impacted by losing money than positively impacted by making money.
100%. Yeah. Oh, we just got 10K over ask on that house. Aren't I a genius? Yeah, whatever. Woo. Versus, oh my God, I just spent 6 months out here and I made no money. That sucks.
Right. Are you at all concerned that, because maybe that's not the right way to word it, because I think so many people, I firmly believe this and I say it all the time, everybody's full of shit, but there's so many people who really try to lead with the altruism, like, I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to help you.
The most genuine people I know say, I'm here to make money. Here's how. And here's how I'm going to make money. And here's how I'm going to help you make money. I'm here to help everyone become a priest, join a mission, give to charity. We had this big, long, Aaron and I talk on Monday, right, about evicting people. When you're evicting a family, it's horrible. When you're evicting a deadbeat that's dragging the system out, it's fun. But if you do enough of them, it's just business. So if you want to give to charity, we got the charity jar around here somewhere because it migrated over from the, there we go. If you want to give to charity, give to charity. I think that's a great thing to do. But your business isn't a charity. Mm-hmm. Your business is a business. And you're not helping anyone by lying to them, saying that I'm in this to help people as my sole and exclusive way of doing it.
Yeah,
I'm in this business to make money, and I do that by doing this business process. And this business process is what helps the people.
Because I know, like Grant Kemp, he would say that all the time on the Grant Teach Something series about how so many people try to lead with, I'm here to help, I'm here to help, I'm here to help. Well, if you do that, then you don't have the out of, well, if you're truly trying to help me, you need, why won't you buy your house? Why won't you pay more? Mm-hmm. But if you lead with, it doesn't make business sense, boom. it's always a business
No,
decision.
I love the way Grant Camp says that. I really do, because he's 100% right, and it comes across as so much more authentic when you're not lying to people up front. Like you're lying to yourself.
Right.
I'm here to help everyone. You're lying to yourself. I'm not going to change the world, me personally, because I'm already almost 40 and it's not going to happen. But I can change lives.
Reaching 40 is not going to happen?
Well, that probably will happen, but the changing the world thing. But you can change a lot of lives by giving people a clear-cut path for their success and by lifting people up. There's a cost to that, and there's a lot of time that goes into putting that together, and there's a compensation factor of doing that. I don't know anyone, Mike Hambright, Grant Camp, whoever, that leads with, here's my program, I'm doing it to help everyone. I don't know anyone that leads with that that's successful. I know a lot of people that lead with that being disingenuous, that think they're going to change stuff. I don't know a lot of people that do it because they're successful.
The way I see this whole situation, like I see 10 to 50 people in the group. I see people that are, I would probably 30 to 50% of them local, the rest across the country in different markets. I see an opportunity for people to learn together, learn from each other, grow together. And really, because that's the whole point of a mastermind is not necessarily going, oh, let's all lean on TJ Kosen. Let's lean on him for the ultimate kind of like, yes, let's do this, let's do that. But you're still open to, oh, that's something I've never heard of. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Let's go for it.
100%. And that's so, yeah, that goes back to what I was talking about a little bit in the middle. I kind of glossed over it. There's so many learn how to wholesale things out there. There's so many, learn this one marketing strategy, this will change your life. That's a little interesting, because it's kind of right and it's kind of wrong. It's kind of right in that if you just wholesale, you can make a lot of money and you can do really well with it. But what happens if the market shifts and buyers are not as readily available, or if I enter a new market, or whatever it is? So I think there's a lot of value to, here's a bunch of different things that do work, and we know they work because we do them. But here's a couple that are working really, really well in these areas. And even marketing tends to go in cycles where flyers are big, dropping a bunch of flyers are big, and they're still big if you do it right. I know folks that are killing it doing mailers. I know folks that are breaking even doing mailers. I know folks that are killing it doing PPC. I know folks that are tried it and their costs went through the roof and they don't make any money doing it now. Same market, same. They're just different folks.
Well, it's interesting you brought up. I needed a better way of saying that because I always say it over and over and over. It's interesting.
Well,
yeah, it's a tick.
I'm an interesting guy.
It's not just you. I say it all the time.
But
like, because I was tuning into Tuesday, the RJ Ryan Jackson's thing, the first Tuesday,
Texas Tuesday.
Texas Tuesday.
Thanks,
Thank you.
thanks, Tommy. And I tuned in for a bit, and RJ and Cassie were up there, and they were talking about how the biggest players in the country still do direct mail marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So people that complain about it, it's like, well, you're complaining about something maybe you're not fully knowledgeable on, because the big players are still doing it.
Bitching about stuff gives you an excuse for inaction. Bitching about, I spent $50,000 on this thing, gives you an excuse for not being successful now because, well, I already blew my nest egg. Or, well, their information was bad. Or they were just out there to scam people and get my $50K and get 500 people's $50Ks. That's just an excuse for inaction. Now, I spent that money. I learned a bunch of stuff. Here's how I optimize it and do it. That's different. You see people even on groups. Oh, so-and-so sells lead lists that are just sell them to everyone. It's not about the data. Like, data's king, data's queen, 100%. You're not making money on data unless you're in the data sales business. You're making money on the analytics and how to analyze and do stuff with the data.
Speaking of, trybatchskip.com.
Subtle
for all your data.
Subtle plug.
For all your data needs. Trybatchskip.com.
But, and again, it's easy. Oh, so-and-so's data's bad. Well, if the data's new and accurate, it's not bad. It's what are you doing with it?
Well, first rule of sales people blame the leads.
Oh, yeah. Again, as an excuse for your inaction. You want to make money? Go out and door knock pre-foreclosures. Yeah. It makes money. I don't particularly know how to do it because I've never done it. But it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be part of an educational process in a mastermind or a program.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't either do it yourself to get your nest egg going, to get some volume going, or it doesn't mean that you shouldn't necessarily pay someone else to do it.
Right. Well, I think we covered a lot of ground. I know we talked about masterminds a lot. We were kind of like subtly plugging ourselves the entire time, but I still think we dropped some nuggets there. Like the nest thing, I thought was brilliant. Like $150,000 to $1 million. That's huge.
Put it in there. Put it in there.
Like, oh, it's $200, $300, whatever.
Yeah, no, you buy them for $169 on
I
sale,
don't know,
$200 not on sale at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Maybe Amazon. We bought like 10 when there was an Amazon sale over Christmas time. We still have a couple of them, and we literally put them in every house from any house that we renovate, and even if we wholetailed a house, we'd probably put it in. Why? Because I've occasionally worked open houses or occasionally shown houses. Their eyes light up, like, "Oh, you got a Nest thermostat? That's so cool!" I'm like, yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, we put a lot of attention to detail to the entire house, just like this.
Right. Then they overlook the paint line that doesn't look perfect on the crown molding or something.
Or the dead cat that's in the air return.
That's a little hard to overlook. Oh, well, you can overlook it because behind the return, it's a little hard to
Quick story. So there's a house that we had years and years ago, and couldn't get rid of the smell. Like, it was a cat piss house. So, we ripped the floors up.
Yeah. Kills the subfloor.
Kills the subfloor.
Slab, whatever.
Put the flooring in. Still smelled. Cleaned out all the ducts. Still smell. We're like, what the hell? Threw an ozone machine in there for like a week.
Still smelled.
Finally, should have done this first. Somebody, checked the air return right under the AC.
Uh-huh.
There was a dead cat there.
Like right there.
Right there.
Oh, that's gross.
We could have started there and then saved all that time, all that money, all that effort.
And that's why you join this mastermind, because we're going to tell you to look under the AC return
always.
First. Always.
If there's a smell, always look under.
If you replace the filter like a good flipper, you would have seen that cat sitting there, because that's where the filter is, right below the thing.
Yeah, but the older ones but the filter usually comes in from the side.
Yeah.
You're not looking
underneath
under.
Yeah,
because you would have to.
Yeah, you don't really look inside the return.
No,
too often.
because you would have to undo the screws to get in there.
You should have, you dirty bastard. You should have been replacing the return screens. Should have been swapping that shit out. Don't just paint that.
You paint it.
It depends on how good they look. We paint a lot of them.
It was like a 120 to 150 house. This is a non-nest house.
You can probably paint it.
Exactly.
Oh wow, it's non-nest. Jeez, that is bad.
Yeah.
It sucks when you got 2 AC units. You got to pay like 2 Nest thermostat. Oh my god, really. Look, if $150 breaks your rehab budget, you're already screwed. So you need to put that thing in there to get your house to sell.
That's how I feel like when doing events and stuff, and you have sponsorships, and people are like, "Oh, do you have contracts?" I'm like, "No, handshake's good." They're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, because if I'm doing a sponsorship and it's $500, $1,000, whatever, and if you as a company can't afford that, you have bigger problems than I have.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, well, we've gone on. Any final thoughts on these subject matters, or just other?
Talked for a while, didn't we?
Always.
It was brilliant.
I know.
Absolutely, you were. I mean, you were good.
I just listened. Is that why I was good?
Yeah. No, I think we come to the mastermind thing from different businesses, but with the same perspective, and I think that's a good understanding to have. Well, whatever someone joins, I think it can absolutely take someone's business to the next level, get them started, and then it can be an ongoing education thing, but it can be an ongoing check and an ongoing accountability. One thing we didn't really talk about that's big in the mastermind business is accountability. Mm-hmm. How many people realistically sit down and do their whatever it's called 10 whatever the hell meeting on Mondays? Not that
Level
many.
10.
Yeah, one of them. Not a lot of folks do. And I don't necessarily think it's not like a 100% necessary to be successful in business, but how many people do plan out 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? And by the way, as part of that, as part of that is having realistic expectation that you can bounce off other people. We would always, my wife and I, when we were doing construction for new investors, we'd always kind of internally eyeball roll. When we meet a new investor, they watch the TV show. Again, nothing wrong with that. It's very motivating. But, oh man, my goal is I want to start doing 1 house a month. Well, that's an awesome goal. Yeah, okay, cool. How many houses have you done? Oh man, this is my first one. Well, what's your process for getting the next one?
Well, I got to get rid of this one first.
I got to get rid of this one first. Like, oh my God. All right. And and they always do it as a negotiation tactic for the contractor. By the way, don't do this. A lot of the groups and shows tell you this. Oh, do it because you're going to promise the contractor a lot of business on the third one, so they should give you a break on the first one. Don't do that. You come across as such a prick that no one's going to take you seriously.
I think that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest myth in this business. There's really no such. Well, there is. There isn't. There really is no such thing as investor pricing.
No, there's wholesale and there's retail pricing, and you should be able to get wholesale pricing if you're doing volume. You cannot get investor pricing because that's just a made-up number that no one really understands what it means. Right. There's direct to subcontractor pricing. There's the labor rate that I pay to put in hardwood floor, and there's the labor rate that we charge the end investor to put in hardwood floor. And they're two different numbers because we're supervising and we're dropping off the stuff and we're putting it in and we're guaranteeing that it's not going to get screwed up. And there's a premium that involves that. So, yeah, online y'all will see, oh, so-and-so screwed me. And the throwaway always is, oh, well, you just weren't paying a fair rate. The answer is probably usually somewhere in between. Maybe you were, maybe you weren't. Look, you can absolutely 1,000% overpay for a bad job or a bad product, and the person taking your money is happy to take it. But you can also not pay a fair rate for a job or not have a clearly defined outline of what the job is. And if you don't know that going in, maybe you didn't overpay. Maybe the contractor underbid it. And maybe they, in order to feed their family, because they're working paycheck to paycheck or Friday to Friday, they took on another job to cover their ass on your job. And if you don't care about that when you're dealing with a contractor, then you probably shouldn't be in the business because you're not going to last long. You need to respect the crews. You need to respect the people that are working for you. And that's how you get them to continue to work for you. You pay fair for a fair job. And then when something comes up, it's like, hey, throw that in for me because this house is tight. Then, like, yeah, no problem, because it doesn't take them that much time. Versus, oh man, we got a little bit extra on this house. Here's a bonus. Mm-hmm. Be fair. Like, oh my God, I made 29 grand instead of 30 grand.
$5 for you.
If that changes your lifestyle bigly.
He gave you a go to hell. Yeah.
If you're making 30 grand and you're paying your contractor an extra $1,000 or $2,000 bonus because you actually are going to give them more business, that's how you get loyalty. Mm-hmm. Anyway, then we can go on a tangent just about contractors.
Yeah,
but
we're getting screwed. There's so many, we've already been talking and so on. So any other final notes?
Try batchskip.com. It's not about
here it is.
Data is king. What you do with data makes you rich.
Say that again.
Data is king or queen. We're not sexist on this show. What you do with that data is what makes you rich.
I like that.
Thank you.
Trybatchskip.com. Tommy, final thoughts?
Best show today.
Best show we've done.
In this time slot. Today.
Yeah, that's about it. Good job, guys.
I think this is the first one at 9 a.m.
Look, you're gonna be
Second one.
You're gonna be paying for education one way or the other. You're either gonna be paying for it because you put in the same shit 3 times, or because you paid someone to tell you how to put it in once. And one causes a lot of stress. The other one makes it so you turn your one-off business into a transactional volume-based business.
Right.
And that's what joining an education thing, that's what joining a mastermind does for your business. It takes it from a one-off hobby where, yeah, maybe you can make money, to an actual business.
And also, there's a community aspect of there. I know community is a catchphrase the past 3 years. I've used it. You've used it. We've all used it.
You built it. There's nothing wrong with community.
But there's a difference between being the open, like, free run into people versus, hey, we're meeting for a set time at a set place.
With set goals.
With set goals,
Right.
with set expectations to have a set agenda.
No, I said at the beginning, I'm not here to network with. It's not that I don't have friends, but I'm not here to join a drinking club that happens to be real estate oriented and see the same people every month. That's why I'm not big on networking. Unless
it's my event.
Oh, I go to your stuff all the time, but that's because I like hanging out with you, but not until after 5 when I can drink. Or whatever it was you said.
That's not coffee in that drink.
That's true.
But that's why. That's
10 a.m. vodka.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
But that's the whole point of that whole deal maker mixer thing that I'm doing here.
Oh, 100%.
Is literally to go, yes, to have that social component, but also if people want to do deals, if people have deals, people have money, let's all come together and throw them in a melting pot, see what happens. At the end of the day, my agenda there is, I've said it many times, is to be able to stand up in front of them. Hey, by the way, I could connect people. I know a lot of people. Hit me up if you have deals, if you need deals, if you have money, if you need money, let me know so we can work that out.
No, and your goal hopefully is eventually either partner on deals again, because you've done that before in the past.
Yeah.
It's all about, look, come at it with an honest perspective, and people are going to respect you.
Again, my thing is be authentic always, and don't be a dick.
Which one do you want me to do, bro? You want me to be authentic or not be a dick?
You can't be both. Oh, is it because when you're authentic, you're just a straight dick?
We'll leave that up in the air. I'm not going to answer all these questions. I got to hold something back.
I think on that note, thanks for watching, listening, tuning in.
Thanks for having me.
Tommy, if you have anything other than that, bye.